Welcome back to Algebra 1. We are doing chapter 5.5 in this book. Now then, I used to skip this section because I felt like poor Algebra 1 kids, they've learned enough. They don't need to know this. But now that I've taught Algebra 2 for so many years, I think it's important that I just introduce the concept to you. No mastery needed, but just an introduction to know that this is here, it exists, and why we would even do it, okay? So, don't freak out. That was my public service warning. Don't freak out, you can do this, okay? And we're not really going to completely do it, I just want to introduce the idea to you, okay? So, remember we have been learning the equation form slope-intercept. Y equals mx plus b, and I told you there are other forms. There's one called the standard form, and then there's this one. This one is called point slope, and this is the form. Y minus y1 equals slope times x minus x1. So here we are given a problem where we have to put it in that form. But before we do that, I want to go over here and show you that why we would ever want to do this. And you're thinking, I don't. But I'll show you what you do with it in Algebra 2. See, you'll feel so smart learning an Algebra 2 idea. Okay, so here is the format, and here is an equation written in it. So that's y1. Is 5. Y1 is 5 because it's minus y1. So y1 is 5 and x1 is 2. So we have this point 2, 5 that we know is on that line. And the slope is 2/3. So we could graph it by using this. We could look and see what this point is, 2, 5. We could look at the slope and know we go up 2 over 3. Go up 2 over 3, put a dot, doodle-a-doo, we got a line. So that's a pretty easy way of looking at an equation and getting the line. But that's not the real beauty of this. The real beauty of this is if you solve for y. So why is y not alone? It's got a -5, so what's the opposite? +5. What you do to one side, you do to the other. So there it is. There's that +5. I moved it to the other side. In algebra, we will have a lot of things where we have x with something and then with a number, and then we'll have y like in some sort of parentheses or under a radical or in absolute value marks. The x is going to have a buddy in some sort of little container with it. And then there'll be another number not in the little tent with x. And these two numbers have a special designation. They're called H and K. And what they do is they change the graph from what it would be like if they weren't there. I know that sounds crazy. Okay, so here is it not there. Y equals 2/3 x. That's an equation that I can graph. See, H and K are gone. And that means that the y-intercept is 0, right? There's my dot. And I could graph this line with the slope going up 2 over 3, put another dot, and draw the line. So this is the line without the H and K. Now, I can draw the line with the H and K. And what the H and K does is it shifts the line horizontally and vertically from where it originally was. So H tells me the horizontal shift, and it's the opposite sign of that number that's in the tent with x. It's the horizontal shift. H for horizontal. Makes sense. The K is the vertical shift. Kind of makes sense if you say vertical and pretend like it's spelled with a K. I don't know why it's K, but it's K for vertical. Put it in your brain. Okay, so that means our line, we shifted back to the opposite sign of this, back to, and then it's the same sign for K and up 5. So we went back to and up 5 and put a dot. Back to, well, and then okay, I went back to up 5 and put a dot. And then I used the slope, and I went up 2 over 3, put another dot, and you can see that this line is shifted back 2 and up 5 from the other line. So just get that idea in your head. You will have to do this on the SAT, the ACT, college entrance exams, and in Algebra 2 all day long, but you're going to get good at it. But that's where we're going with this thing called shift, and it is a horizontal and a vertical shift. You take a graph and then you shift it. So fun. You're going to love that in Algebra 2. All right, so here's a typical problem. We are given 2 points and we have to come up with the line. So the first thing we did is we got the slope, change in y over change in x, y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. We sang the song substitute and substituted it into the formula y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Negative 2 minus 6 is negative 8. 1 minus minus is plus 3 is 4. Negative 8 over 4 is negative 2. So now we can write this formula because we have the slope and we have x1 and y1. So we just fill it in. Y minus x1 is negative 3 and 2 negatives make a positive. So, I'm saying what? Stop it. I was messing up. y1. It's y1. So y minus y1 is 6 equals the slope, negative 2, x, and now we do what I was trying to do, x minus negative 3 is plus 3, and that's it in point slope. Done! So, but the main value of this is understanding that there is such a thing called H and K and it shifts lines. Alright, so you're not going to have much homework with this. Look at the book, see if you understand it. If you don't, this is not an important concept at this point in your algebra journey. You'll get it later. Don't worry about it. It'll be fine. Alright? Math is great.